In Godzilla King of the Monsters, a huge emphasis was put on introducing new titans and fleshing out Monarch as essentially the MonsterVerse equivalent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And these new titans were original creations from Legendary Pictures and served basically as complementary monsters to the classic monsters that we got in the film, such as Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla. And in Godzilla vs. Kong, it's been widely speculated that a new titan will be introduced as a physical threat to not only Godzilla but also Kong. And fan favorite picks have been floated through a lot of theories here and there, like Biolante, Gigan, and even Destroya, based upon certain fan sites and community forums across the internet. However, what if the physical threat is another titan entirely, or even technically a kind of non-titan titan, if you will? And this brings us to the possibility of MechaGodzilla entering the MonsterVerse in 2020. So it all starts with the human conspiracy. So when early details were released by Warner Brothers for Godzilla vs. Kong, the plot summary had this very interesting description, and it said, as Monarch embarks on a perilous mission into uncharted terrain and unearths clues to the Titan's origins, a human conspiracy threatens to wipe the creatures, both good and bad, from the face of the earth forever. And while this is understandably vague in certain aspects, it teases more exploration of the Hollow Earth. And introduced as a theoretical concept in Kong Skull Island, it was believed that subterranean pockets help Titans traverse across Earth quicker than conventional means. And these pockets were also believed to be responsible for how the Skull Crawlers entered Skull Island. As shown in Godzilla King of the Monsters with the Underwater Kingdom, the Hollow Earth can lead to locations revealing new information on the Titans' history, and if Monarch could learn how Titans and humans previously coexisted, it would change the landscape of the MonsterVerse as we know it. And discovering long-lost origins of the Titans' relationship with humanity could also result in retcons to certain characters such as Godzilla or Mothra based upon their unique power sets and relationships with humans. For example, the famous non-Toho kaiju Gamera wasn't an ancient superspecies, but instead the creation of Atlanteans, and this type of revelation within the MonsterVerse would be game-changing. Now, the human conspiracy in Godzilla vs. Kong could be the so-called threat of Titans to the greater society, and while this narrative could be pushed, it has been shown that the activity of Titans actually has positive results onto nature. However, their destructive capabilities, especially in the aftermath of Ghidorah's chaos, likely wouldn't sit well with a lot of governments, and for the United States government in particular, since they already developed the Oxygen Destroyer to combat Godzilla after the events of Godzilla 2014, it wouldn't be surprising to see them have more drastic methods developed for the future. And these methods could take the form of a weapon capable of not only direct confrontation, but also the manipulation and containment of the Titans. This type of containment and manipulation would incorporate the Orca technology, whether the Orca itself, an upgraded form, or simply a derivative of that technology, which can replicate alpha waves in order to manipulate the behavior of certain Titans. And in the wake of how ineffective the Oxygen Destroyer ended up being, it would make sense that the United States government, especially since they have some oversight to a degree over Monarch, would want less of a destructive force purely, and maybe something that could be destructive but is more specialized in the form of a specialized machine. And this machine, combined with the upgraded Orca technology or derivative Orca technology in Titan level weaponry, would probably be the most logical version of MechaGodzilla that we would get within the MonsterVerse. It could be called MechaGodzilla as a reference, almost in a mocking way, since the Orca can replicate the influence that alphas have. I don't think they would go that route, but at the same time, I wouldn't 100% rule that out of the picture for how they come up with the name of MechaGodzilla. Now, with regards to the next part of this, I want to talk about Toho's kaiju rights with WB and Legendary Pictures. When the MonsterVerse first came into development, the only Toho kaiju Legendary was able to use legally was Godzilla. And of course, Legendary could have just created a new Titan that was near identical to a Toho kaiju. However, after the release of the 2014 Godzilla film, Legendary instead just acquired the rights to a few more characters along with their themes, which was revealed to be King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and a few undisclosed kaiju. Now, the rumor was that Toho simply gave the rights to their top 5 monsters, which was Godzilla, Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and, as a lot of people could have guessed, MechaGodzilla. However, we never had official confirmation about the full vast range of what monsters were given to Legendary because it kind of kept them under wraps. And based on leaked concept art and appearances in other Warner Brothers properties like Ready Player One, these undisclosed characters are presumed to be Gigan, Megalon, and MechaGodzilla. Director Michael Dougherty is even on the record saying that he'd love to include characters like Gigan and MechaGodzilla into the MonsterVerse for future installments. Of course, Toho may want to space out the introduction of these various characters, since there was a rumor going around that they would like a new MonsterVerse film every 2 years. And considering how MechaGodzilla is a top 5, arguably top 3 character with regards to brand recognition for Toho, it's hard to imagine the character would not be introduced in another film if Warner Brothers actually does have the rights to the character. In a movie showcasing the anticipated battle of Godzilla and Kong, along with the reveal of a new MechaGodzilla, it may be just me, but I think that's kind of marketing gold. Now, across MechaGodzilla's history, there have been 4 notable interpretations of the character. The first version is in the Showa era, and that's the result of the simians alien race in an attempt to conquer Earth. So basically, this MechaGodzilla was initially disguised to appear like the real Godzilla until injuries to it exposed the mechanical design and kind of the fakeness of this MechaGodzilla. In the second version of MechaGodzilla is more dangerous than the previous one and eventually has the capability of merging with other compatible technology in order to upgrade itself into like a super MechaGodzilla. Now, created by the Japanese military, this MechaGodzilla was built using the skeleton of a dead Godzilla, which is revealed to be the original 1954 incarnation, in order to defend Japan from other threats like Godzilla, Mothra, and other kaiju. Now, the most recent version of MechaGodzilla, if we ignore Ready Player One, appeared in the Godzilla anime, which is on Netflix, and this version of MechaGodzilla was created as an ultimate last hope in defeating Godzilla Earth. Unfortunately, this MechaGodzilla never becomes fully operational as intended, but actually lives on through its AI system. And combined with alien nanometal, this MechaGodzilla is able to create an advanced self-replicating base used to develop new technology and weapons against Godzilla Earth. Now, a notable element with MechaGodzilla is how the creation of it and just the operation of it itself defies the so-called natural order, which is obviously a theme very much present throughout the MonsterVerse. Also, in Godzilla King of the Monsters, if you're paying attention to the credit scenes, there are a few newspaper clippings that show up here and there talking about the aftermath of Godzilla King of the Monsters, the effects basically around the world of these titans now being awoken, and one clipping reportedly shows Monarch denying that they were building not only a base on Skull Island, but that they were building a mechanized weapon. And it wouldn't be unlikely that over the years, especially if they said they started building it after Godzilla 2014, it wouldn't be unlikely that by the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, we would have a vastly, whether it's just vast in size or vast in advancement of technology, but it wouldn't be surprising if we had a Titan-sized weapon of some sort. And based on everything we know, this weapon is most likely going to be revealed as the MonsterVerse incarnation of MechaGodzilla, whether literally or simply just in spirit, in the sense of it being just a hyper, maybe advanced AI with weapons systems, things like that can combat various titans across the world. Whether it's kind of that route, which I think would really suck and I'd rather them not go that route, or they actually go full on like Pacific Rim style, we have monsters versus, mechas. That'd be kind of crazy to see in the MonsterVerse, and maybe that's just the thing that they need to really jumpstart the franchise as it goes ahead of the, Godzilla trilogy, so to speak. But did you guys like Godzilla King of the Monsters? Let us know your thoughts and which Titan you'd like to see in the MonsterVerse in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys later.